in our first reading today from the first book of Samuel, Hannah couldn't conceive a child for so many years. And she could just really complain against God, be resentful. But we see how she dealt with the burden that she was carrying. She brought it to the Lord. It says there, she was deeply distressed and prayed to the Lord and wept bitterly. Also, it says here that she has been pouring out her soul before the Lord. And that's what we're called to do. When we're carrying something, we can't carry it on our own. It's too heavy for us. And the Lord doesn't expect us to carry those burdens. We need to bring it to the Lord. And we see here how Hannah was able to hear God speak to her through Eli. Okay, and Eli told her, "Go in peace, the God of Israel, grant the petition you have made to him." She went home and she had sexual relations with her husband, and she conceived and bore a son. And I would just like to suggest 3 things for us to do when we're carrying burdens in our life. One is to find somebody, a spiritual director, a spiritual guide, somebody who is more mature in their spiritual life compared to us. And then somebody that we could trust, and then just share. Share whatever is going on. And then hear their inputs, hear their suggestions, hear their advice. Okay, and of course, you need to bring it to prayer. The second is read some books while you're before the Lord, the scripture or some spiritual books. Because God could speak through books or through the Bible. And the third thing is journal. What I do is I do 2-way journaling. Okay, I write to the Lord, "Lord, this is what I'm experiencing. This is what I'm feeling." Okay, and then after that, I wait to hear Him speak to me, and then I write what I assume He is telling me. Ken, this, and then I just write it. Okay, and I find that it's really very helpful. Lately, I've been kind of experiencing some emotional disturbance. Sometimes I would dwell in the past and have regrets of past mistakes. Okay? And sometimes I would find myself also dwelling in the future. Sometimes of fear, afraid of what could happen in the future. Okay? So I would go before the Lord and then just start journaling. I would just write, "Lord, this is what I'm experiencing." I would dwell in the past because I remember these mistakes that I've done in the past. Okay? "Lord, I'm afraid of what could happen in the future." And then I would just hear Him speak. And one way of God speaking to me is, through this book, Insigne Jesu. And in this book, what really stood out when I was reading this is when Jesus said to this Benedictine monk through private revelation, "Continue to trust me in all things. I will not abandon or forsake you. I am directing every turn of events and all the circumstances that mark this moment in your life. Trust me with everything. Be at peace." When I read this, I just felt so much peace. Okay? So you see how the Lord wants to speak to us and really wants to help us carry the burdens that we're having in our life. We needed to bring it to the Lord. As I've said, speak to somebody that you trust. Second, read some books or scripture. And then the third thing is through journaling.